Chapter 3 All Kinds of Time. Almost a week has passed since Lorelei woke me up that day. What she had found wasn't just anything, though I'm pretty sure she was more excited about it than I was. After all, she not only purposely went to my room, she went into it, and if that wasn't enough, she woke me up too. Now you may wonder what would ever cause a girl like her to stray from her natural ways in such a manner. I have the answer, but first, let me tell you about the why. She was unbearably excited and couldn't stand being full of joy without anyone to share it with. A rooftop, a gorgeous one with a gorgeous view. I wouldn't say it's something you wake people up for, though, that much I know. Lorelei would claim the opposite, but first she'd find an argument that isn't based around sentimental reasons. Emotions are far too scary to face head-on, you see. That's the Lorelei I've slowly come to know. As you can probably tell, Lorelei and I have spent a good deal of time together since that day. It appears we have more in common than both of us previously thought. An important aspect is that I'd say we're on an even wavelength. You don't come by people of this kind easily. In our old lives, as a result of the already very limited social interaction, the chances of that happening are slim to none. It's refreshing. It goes without saying that she's still largely a mystery to me, but at least we speak the same language. As for her cryptic personality, well, let's just say that she isn't always as difficult to comprehend as she would like to think. With time, I'll get to know her well enough to call her out on her inconsistencies. Time. It's been a while since we arrived here, but I can't seem to shake the feeling of that every day is our very first day here. To summarize the reason for my thoughts in one sentence, a day here feels like nothing. There are no signs of time moving forward in the same sense anymore. No calendars, no phones, no computers. No shocking world news, political issues, or scientific discoveries. The only things we have here are our simple clocks and the ever-present sun. And they are both sub-eternal motions ignoring human perception. If anything, it's bittersweet symbolism for the status quo we lived in until now. You might have foreseen it, but I have a theory as to why that is too. For a change, our lives are active. People talk, people play, and people live. Despite the circumstances, it's something new and exciting, and it makes time pass at an unimaginable rate. It's almost as if time moves faster in the bubble that is this camp. In contrast to the daily life in the society we left, it at least feels like it. I wouldn't call our situation ideal just yet. Far from it, in fact. We're merely in the trial stage, so there's plenty of time for error. People are slowly coming out of their shells, if only for a peek, but it's far too soon to derive any noteworthy results out of this. Relapse is a real thing. One misstep and you can fall back into familiar patterns. Old habits die hard. I have a personal gripe about this, by the way. I find it hard coming to terms with the fact that more than a week has passed, when it feels like no time has passed at all. In a year, will the year that has passed feel like a mere month? And if a year is a month in my head as well, then surely life itself is a month too. A day is nothing. A week is nothing. A month is nothing. 0 times 0 is still 0. I've made observations too. It appears some of my peers have prepared themselves for a life here. They seem content with the idea of it. And I don't blame them. Not one bit. Honestly, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Yes, it's restrictive, and it's still a fairly stale basis to build your life upon, but these things will surely change with time. At least the latter. To make it a place we can call home is on us and us only. We have the resources and the means. All it takes is the willpower. It's all up to us. I'm not so sure myself, though. There are things I wonder about when you're not listening. Hey, can you hear me? Yes, I'm talking to you. Even if you can't hear me, I act with faith in that you do. It's better than the alternative. Some would call it insanity, but I see it as a coping mechanism. What I'm coping with, you ask? My new life at the camp, of course. Life can be lonely, and I think you'd feel the same if you were in my shoes. To be in my shoes. I wonder what you'd do. This isn't anyone else's story, though. It's mine. Where are we going? Someplace nice. Hopefully. What happens when you try to reset a crumbling society? Wow, that was a brief chapter. Chapter 4, No Time Wasted. I spent most of the day sleeping. Now I'm out on a walk, taking in the atmosphere around the camp. It's late summer, but it's fairly cold despite that. As soon as the sun sets, which is quite early nowadays, it instantly gets colder. Starting outside our building, I slowly walk down a long path, heading away from the camp. My hands in my pockets. Up ahead, I can see a large figure approaching. It's not dark to the point where I can't make out facial features, so I can quite easily distinguish Daniel's huge frame gradually getting closer. It's instinctive, but my stomach turns into a knot whenever I see him. He doesn't even make eye contact with me. He never does, but instead slowly trudges past me without a word. An intimidating guy, no matter how you put it. It's almost to the point where you question if he's really an ally or not. I feel relieved knowing he has passed me by. I continue my journey on this path. I pass by another building, other than the one I know the best. Something I've been thinking about lately, and what strikes me as odd is that I haven't even talked to anyone from another building so far. I haven't really talked to most of the inhabitants in my own building, actually. Lorelei, Emma, Charlotte, and Ben. Out of all the inhabitants, they're the only people I've had conversations with since I got here. That's if you don't count that one girl, but I'd rather not. To get to the point, they're pretty great, but at the same time, I can't help but find it a bit unsettling. Makes me worry about the future as well, because wasn't the entire idea of this project that we'd be forced to cooperate with each other? On some level, I probably came here today in hopes of accidentally running into someone, magically making a new friend. My steps echo against the bare wall of the building. I look up. Most of the lights in the building have been turned off. Even the blinds are shut in a couple of windows. I haven't even had dinner yet, and people already shine themselves in? I take notice of one particular window. It's quite far up, probably on the 4th floor, and it seems wide open. I can hear people talking in there. I can't make out any words, but to me, it sounds like they're enjoying themselves. I stop in my tracks and stare at it blankly in wonder. I remember when my dad sometimes called me from the bars in the middle of the night, letting me know of his lateness. It very much sounded like this during our calls back then. Alcohol was without a doubt a factor in my dad's late-night escapades, but that couldn't possibly be the case up there. Fun without alcohol, who would have thought? I resume my way along the path after having voiced my thoughts out loud. That's when I get a reply I wasn't expecting. I wouldn't bet any money on that. You see, it's quite easy to brew your own spirits from the raw materials we have access to here. I'm not saying that's the case up there, but I wouldn't rule it out either. Someone steps out of the shadows. The fact that I didn't make out her face until now makes me realize that these paths are actually quite poorly lit at certain points. Good evening to you. Hey. Lorelei walks up to me, but still keeps a fair distance. She starts walking, and so do I. Out for a walk? She shrugs and looks at me questioningly. I point briefly towards the top of the building we're now walking away from. I was just thinking that we've never even talked to these people, yet they live only a few minutes away. I'm thinking that it's not really a good thing. Well, She starts off in that manner, but goes quiet shortly after uttering that one word. Couldn't they possibly be an asset in a way? And we could possibly be one to them. Aren't those the very basic components of cooperation? Lorelei looks at me with a soft expression. But I'm not good with those things. She seems a bit embarrassed as she utters these words, but promptly turns back to her normal self. I don't know if I am either, but I feel like there's this wasted potential and we're all just living separate lives. As if our neighbors' well-being doesn't concern us. As if they don't really matter. As if we don't really matter to them. As if nothing matters but ourselves. Yeah. She realized my concerns before I could even voice them myself. Actually, before I realized they were my actual concerns. That's the reality of the situation. It's also the reason we're here. It doesn't matter what kind of conversation we're having, but her sharpness always makes itself known somehow. Lorelei, what are we doing here? Currently, we're not doing much of anything. I am, however. She stops in her steps and looks directly at me with intent. Are you good with secrets, Quentin? Depends on the secret. But if you're asking for my discretion, yes. I wouldn't break your trust. I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. I'd find it awkward to express it to her, but I respect her a lot. She's noble, and I don't see her ever acting out of spite. She's better than me in that regard. I don't trust myself quite as much. Lorelei looks happy with my answer. You see, I've had time to think. A great deal of time. And something I realized was that I want to explore. I want to see what's out there, because there can't be nothing, right? There's got to be something. I want to find that something. Also, I miss the forest. I don't know if I've told you, but the forest is an important place to me. I know we've been discouraged from going out there, alone even more so, but I haven't been able to stay away. I look at her with a confused expression. I see, and you're telling me this why? I have realized there are dangers, especially when it's getting dark so early nowadays. I could, She breaks eye contact and mumbles. I feel my cheeks gain warm as I fill in the blanks. A partner, eh? So, if you were to accompany me out there, maybe it'd be more safe. She's blushing slightly, probably regretting using the word partner. That's an interesting proposal, though. I don't really have time to think about it too much until I arrive at my answer. I'm not about to say no to this offer because I too am curious about what's out there. Plus, I'd be forced to spend less time by myself, and that's probably a good thing judging by these new circumstances and realizations. Sure, I'll be your partner. Lorelei doesn't say anything else after that as we walk around the loop back to our building. But I can see shadows enveloping her face, and they form the outline of a delicate smile. It's peaceful. So very peaceful. I feel like I can actually breathe out here. The wind feels unbelievably refreshing. If I were to compare the two, the air back in the apartment feels incredibly stale. I hear some birds singing, but I can't see them. Lorelei is next to me. We're walking up a natural path that to me looks more like the entrance to a maze than anything. I sense hints of sap in the air. It's late summer and the trees out here are still colored by that strong emerald green tint most of us associate them with. Within that tint, a slight yellow can be seen if you stare long enough. That'd be the autumn saying hello. I went into this with the mentality of being careful, but it's difficult not to let myself relax when nature is being so kind to my senses. It's really nice out here. I almost don't want to go back. I know, right? We spent hours just walking, carefully marking our path behind us so as not to get lost. Endless, dense forestry is all that seems to await us. It doesn't seem like anyone else has been out here. Probably ever. No. There are no signs of any human activity as far as I can see. Though, I'm not really the best person to ask. I've more or less been confined to a city my whole life. Just like me, then. With that being said, I actually can't even see signs of animals living out here. They're probably not used to human presence. I bet they took off the moment they heard construction noise come from the camp's direction. Lorelei doesn't reply, so I clarify what I wanted to say. What I mean is, back when the camp was constructed, they probably took off to live somewhere else because of the incessant noise. That might be so. We keep walking through thickets in silence for a while, up until Lorelei speaks to me once again. Do you miss your past life? Do I miss my past life? I miss my family, but my past life? Not so much. I grew up in a good environment with a caring family, but society depressed me constantly. I keep forgetting people might actually miss their old lives desperately. I don't. I miss my family, but anything, including what we have now, is better than that old, stagnated society of ours. Lorelei quickly mumbles something under her breath, but I'm not sure I was even supposed to hear her. I don't miss my past life either. But I haven't gotten comfortable here yet, and I'm not sure I ever will. Well, at least I met you. I'm surprised she could even say something like that to me in the middle of the day with a straight face. I didn't think she had it in her. I guess it's different when it's really only the two of us out here. On second thought, she isn't saying it with a straight face. She's blushing. I'm glad I met you too. In that moment, she looked much like a fragile doe ready to flee, sensitive to a human's presence. It warms my heart. We return to silence as we continue our trek through the ever-silent forest. If I had said something more, she probably actually would have fled. Time passes, and I look over at Lorelei. She has a notepad in one hand and a pencil in the other. She's mapping out the locations we covered so far. It's an intricate system with symbols and markings. I don't really know how it's designed to work, but with Lorelei by my side, I don't have to worry about that. She's always so reliable in these things. This is the way we've been doing things together since that one day. Exploring, gathering information. Mostly information pertaining to the location, but also the people here, especially the employed ones. Yeah, that includes Emma. I didn't befriend Emma because of some ulterior motive, though she's just kind and easy to get along with. The kind that anyone would want as their friend. I feel bad about even thinking about it. No, if push comes to shove, Emma is as innocent as they come. I'm convinced of that. We should take a break. Okay. Let's sit down over there. I point over to a couple of boulders covered in moss. They look comfortable enough to sit or even lie down on. I touch one. Soft. I sit down on it, and that's when I notice a small bush with plump berries hanging from it. I get up right away and almost fly over to them. Lorelei made some sandwiches for us, but I'm not going to say no to a gift from Mother Nature. I pop one in my mouth. Very earthy and delicious. But how strange. They very much look like large blueberries, but honestly, they taste more like strawberries. I pick a couple of them and bring them to Lorelei. This could be fun. I have the berries hidden behind my back as I prompt her. Close your eyes. Why? The dough beneath the surface is back. Trust me on this one. She looks at me intently for a while until she finally adheres to my wish. Okay. not looking. Now open your mouth. With some delay, she finally opens it. I pop not one berry in there, but 3. Chew. Tell me what they taste like. She carefully chews them apart. Strawberries. Their shape and size feel much like the ones of blueberries, though. You can open your eyes now. I show her my hands, both being covered in small smudges of berry juices. Blue. She looks quite joyful. They very much look like large blueberries, but they taste like strawberries. That's an interesting find. We should bring some with us. Yeah, I'm sure Emma would love some. I go sit down on the well-padded boulder once again. Out of my backpack I take the sandwiches Lorelei made for us. I hand one to her and unwrap my own. It looks dense and nutritious. Effective and dependable in how they were made. Perfect for a smooth refuel from wandering out in the forest for the entire day so far. I bite into it. You sure don't skip out on the fillings. Why would I? Without a proper inside, a sandwich is just 2 limp slices of boring bread. I agree. It's delicious. Thank you. You're welcome. It seems it took a bit of effort of getting those words out, but I'm glad she's able to not hide herself behind that mask as much anymore. The forest seems to have this power over us. It's cozy and homey, yet exciting and somewhat gloomy. For some reason, you simply feel like you belong in here. The green is enveloping you from all directions, and it stretches as far as you can see. Home. In your home, you're able to fully relax and stay true to yourself. Lorelei must feel this effect as well. We should get moving. In a few hours it'll get dark. Alright. Deciding that this is deep enough into the forest for today, we turn back towards the village. On our way back, I occasionally see bushes full of berries. Naturally, I stop and pick them, slowly driving Lorelei nuts. To be fair, it was her idea. So being bitter about it now, just because I'm not going at her desired pace, is something she'll have to live with. We talk sparsely along the way back. We didn't really find much, did we? The berries? Well, yeah, but that's hardly why we're out here, right? I guess not. She shrugs. You guess. I sometimes get the feeling that Lorelei knows more than she lets on. I decide this is a perfect opportunity to call her out on my suspicions. So this trip was completely useless, no? She looks at me like I'm stupid. I am working on a map, remember? Right. Did we learn anything important? Well, this forest doesn't seem to have an end. It's true. I get the feeling we could walk for hours and not be close to getting out of it. I just can't help but wonder how we got here if all that's around us is dense forestry. It'll prove useful as we explore the forest further. Right. Because now we'll never explore the same place twice, yes? Lorelei nods. We make it back to the village in the evening. We enter our building. I see Emma hasn't gone to bed. Light escapes the borders of her door. I wonder what she's up to. Lorelei and I walk up the stairs side by side. At her floor, we stop and look at each other for a short while. Good night, then. Good night, then. She just repeated after me. And she realized it. What a cute blush. Bye. She quickly ducks into her room. I chuckle. Once back in my room, I can feel the exhaustion from all the walking, but knowing it'll soon be a memory, my mind is at ease. After all, I have to adapt. You see, I have a feeling Lorelei and I will be doing this quite often from now on. I'm in my bed and I'm feeling incredibly lazy. The fluffy sheets feel extraordinarily soft right now. I curl myself into a ball. It actually is quite late, but there are still things to be done before my day is over. I groan loudly. At times like these, I really dislike my talent for procrastination. If I had done all my chores earlier today, I could have gone straight to bed after showering. That's not really the case now. I still have to put my clothes in the dryer. They're now in the washing machine, wet, and I may have forgotten about them for, well, far too many hours. The options are few as I'm not getting out of the shower, clean only to put on today's, or worse, yesterday's clothes. The plan is to go downstairs, put the clothes in the dryer, shower, and then return and get my dry clothes in my towel, because I refuse to put on dirty clothes when I'm clean. The plan sounds flawless to me, so let's get moving. I drag myself out of the extreme comfort that is my bed. Sometimes life sure is hard. I grab my empty laundry bag and head out into the corridor in my socks. I walk towards the staircase with sluggish steps. I yawn and it echoes loudly throughout the corridor. Maybe people are sleeping already. I want to be sleeping too. I walk down the stairs and into the laundry room. No one's touched my machine, so I've got that going for me at least. I grab my soggy pieces of clothing one by one and dump them into my bag. From there I do the same thing in reverse, but into the dryer. Shower time. I suddenly feel a burst of energy flowing through me. Showers, showering. Being enveloped by hot water truly is the best. I get giddy, and I almost fly up the stairs towards the shower room. It's empty. As expected, most people have already gone to bed, which makes this prime showering time. I turn on the tap and adjust it the way I like it. So good. I can't believe I waited this long to get to this. I need to remind myself more often of the gift of the gods that is the shower. I can feel my joints and muscles warming up from the hot water. It's almost as if my body is thanking me for this luxurious treatment. As thick steam surrounds me, my thoughts cease for just a minute. I open my eyes that had closed at some point. Paradise. I bet I'm grinning like an idiot, as Lorelei would have said. But you know what? Right now, I don't care one bit. Okay. Now to go get my warm, dry clothes with citrus fragrance from the dryer. In my towel. But I've already noted the absence of people awake at this time. So no issues there, surely. I wrap my towel around my waist and head out. I feel like I'm floating forward. I'm grinning like an idiot. Yep, I am. I'm so warm that the cool stairs feel pleasant on the soles of my feet. They're burning up as if nothing could cool them down. By the end of the stairs, I realized that wasn't the case, but it sure felt like it. I open the door to the laundry room once again. Life sure is good right now. I walk up to my dryer and pull out my newly dried clothes. I instinctively almost unwrap my towel to get in my fresh clothes. I moved it just a bit too much, however, and it drops to the floor. Good thing no one's here. That's when I see a shocked Lorelei in my peripheral vision. She's staring at me in my completely naked state with huge eyes. I don't even know how to react to this. I end up just staring her right in the eyes as my mind is running in circles, trying to come up with what to do. She finally breaks eye contact after a good while and looks away. This serves as a good icebreaker in the tension that was palpable to the point where I could barely move. I awkwardly fumble around trying to pick up my damn towel off the floor. Hi. I say. Or I thought I did, but it came out as a whisper. What the hell are you doing? I can feel the sweat rolling down my back. So much for that shower. I came to get my laundry. In doing naked seem like a good idea to you? I'm not wasn't naked. I'm just gonna get my stuff and then leave. I fumble around some more while scraping together my clean clothes and put them in my bag. I awkwardly walk out of the room, much like a penguin with my towel covering most of my lower body. In that moment, someone giggles. I turn around and panic back towards Lorelei. Her smile is radiant, and though the blush is still apparent on her face, she laughs. I can't help but to smile myself, and my flickering stare is finally met with the glittering sapphires that are her eyes. You're an idiot. Biggest idiot I've ever seen. But thanks for the laugh. I merely look at her dumbfoundedly. Yes, that's all. You can leave now. This time I look at her questioningly. I still have laundry to do. Right. Well then, I'll see you tomorrow. See you. On second hand, I think I'd rather not. If you're going to keep violating my eyes in this manner, I think I'll pass. I groan and leave the room. But on the inside I feel happy. Because it's not every day you get to hear her laugh. In fact, I believe this was the first time. Her laugh was gorgeous. I wouldn't mind hearing it again. The sheer chance that went into creating this whole ridiculous accident is nothing you could ever construct with intention. I'll have to think about the best ways to make her laugh later. Maybe in my dreams. Because for now, I'll be heading to bed. Hey, Quentin! As I rummage through the building's main fridge in search of my rationed breakfast supplies that I store here, Charlotte peeks into the kitchen. Yahoo! What's up? I heard from Emma it's your birthday soon. Is that true? My birthday? I suppose it is soon. I hadn't felt the need to think about it. After all, when all your habits are suddenly thrown out the window, why would a thing such as celebrating birthdays stick with you? You might reply, because it's the one thing you've always celebrated, and that's true. But the moment I stepped out of that bus, it was as if I had started a new life. In a sense, it was as if I had been born again, and not in the normal sense of the word. A year has not yet passed, so I don't feel the need to celebrate just yet. But they might need it. Even if I don't, they might. So I'll go along with it. For their sake. It's true. It's pretty soon. Awesome. Are you throwing a party? A party, eh? Hadn't thought about it. Charlotte starts jumping up and down. You should. Actually, I'll do it for you. But I can't cook. And well, there's really not much you can do here for a special occasion like this. Charlotte suddenly looks a bit despondent. But then her expression takes a turn for the better. But I know someone that can cook. I hope you're not implying I'm the man for the job. Because I mean, I can. I'm just not that great at it. Charlotte laughs at my face. You? No, you're useless. Your scrambled eggs are nightmare fuel. Thanks for the vote of confidence. You! Stay right here. I'll soon be back with our savior. Charlotte vanishes. Then I wait. It doesn't take long before she returns with a confused Emma in her grasp. Charlotte is holding Emma's arm closely as she's jumping up and down, telling her what I assume to be her elaborate birthday plans. So you'll cook for us, right? Won't you? Well... Emma looks a bit overwhelmed, but she smiles. I can't say no when you're always spoiling me with such flattery about my cooking. I'll do it. Yahoo! Well then, Quentin, prepare for the best meal of your life. Emma blushes and I scratch my head. Hey now, don't make this impossible for me. Emma pulls an exaggerated sad face and hesitates. Then energy returns to her gradually. I hope it will at least be the best meal you've had since you came here. That'd be good enough for me. And if that turns out to be the case, that would make me very, very happy. My head is already full of ideas. I must go jot down some notes. After Emma's soliloquy, she heads off at the same speed she arrived at. She soon returns with a notepad in her hand. She walks up to me and rests her head against my shoulder as she looks as concentrated as ever. She's furiously writing down letters, and shapes, and all kinds of stuff, really. It leaves me baffled. You must have a lot of confidence in your skills if you're this eager to cook for us. Emma blushes and looks up at me. I won't say it's not true, but I try not to brag about it. She switches to a barely discernible whisper and leans in closer to my ear. The truth is, I think I'm a really good cook. You shall not be disappointed. She gives me a truly heartwarming smile. I'm looking forward to it. The bar is set quite high, so if you fail, it's all on you. I won't. With the proper preparation and care, I'm confident I can make it happen. I chuckle. Great. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if it all turns out to be the best meal I've ever had, though. I have a feeling Emma definitely has the skills to back her claims. For now, maybe I just make my breakfast in peace, though. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll leave you be. She walks out of the room with a determined look in her eyes. Bye, Charlotte. Later. You too. I need some quiet after all that ruckus. I'm now the only person left in the kitchen. It's time to make a great breakfast consisting of bacon and eggs. In peace and quiet. Just the way I like it. I wake up from a torrent of dreams. Bright colors, and within them I spend time with those closest to me. Warm times. Constantly changing sceneries. Full of happiness. After all, nothing from the opposite end of the spectrum existed. That's the best way I can describe the times under the hypothetical blanket of dense, lukewarm water I just experienced. A powerful stream of thoughts from a time I'd forgotten. Jumbled memories. Of everything. Or was that really it? It felt so nostalgic and real, but just like with any other dream, the longer you've been awake after dreaming, the stronger the doubt to the dream's authenticity becomes. It felt like its genuineness was unrivaled, but now I'm not so sure anymore. Perhaps it was from another life. Perhaps a future life or event. Or maybe even another timeline. Well, that is, if you believe in those. I still haven't opened my eyes, but a few minutes past I can say for sure that what I saw, at least, hasn't happened in my life so far. Perhaps I just fooled myself into thinking it was real. Perhaps I just wanted to believe it was real. Perhaps I wanted you to believe it was real so you could convince me it was real. The details slowly become muddy as I start to forget the wonderful world I was jolted out of. Keep notes of your dreams. That's my advice to you. Sometimes you learn things you otherwise wouldn't have known, and sometimes you explore worlds you never would have seen. They're all within you, but are conjured up on random, so don't expect on-demand entertainment. With patience, they'll surely reward you. Don't deny your own brain's feedback. I know I wouldn't, at least. Sometimes I wake up feeling like I just fell asleep. As in, the real world as we know it was a dream all along. It's terrifying. It's enthralling. However far you want to go in believing in the supernatural is up to you, though. Someone knocks on my door. My eyes open in shock, making me instantly lose my train of thought. Ah, right. I told myself I'd rest, but clearly my brain decided to perceive that wish as a desire to sleep. Good luck falling asleep tonight, brain. I sigh and get up. I don't make it there before the door springs open. Charlotte bursts into my room. Good morning to you. She looks at me with a raised eyebrow that reeks of belittlement. Oh, fuck off. Grumpy, are we? She flashes me a taunting grin. Yeah, because it seems everyone has a tendency to walk into my room like it's the most natural thing ever. Pretty fucking annoying, I mumble under my breath. Oh, but you see, I'm not everyone. Then what are you? Charlotte shrugs and walks over to my bed and lies down on it, clearly uninterested in replying. Instead, she changes the subject. When was the last time you changed your sheets? She sniffs and makes a strained face. I sigh deeply and rub the corner of my eyes. I don't know. Not that it's any of your business. I'll send the stealth ninja maid in here now. You'll never see her coming. Fuck my life. How about I just do it myself? The need for a stealth ninja maid would imply it's something I can't do by myself, and that's just insulting. Clearly you can't, you big baby. The stealth ninja maid is coming for you. I've signaled for her to prepare her assault already. Was there something you wanted? Or did you just come here to annoy me? Gee, I wonder. I'm sure there was something. I reach for my forehead once again. Oh yeah. Miriam has been asking for you. They said she was too scared to come knock on your door by herself, so she's waiting for you to come down. Oh. My stomach still turns into a knot sometimes when I hear her name. Sometimes, associations can really mess you up. I'm fine when I'm around her. The idea of her scares me more than Miriam herself. I don't feel as annoyed by Charlotte's antics anymore. I'll go see what's up. There's this girl I've gotten to know. Her name is Miriam. From the very beginning, I felt a demand from her. She's not verbally suggesting I owe her something or anything like that, but I feel burdened by a responsibility I'm not sure I asked for. I've learned Miriam has trouble interacting with others, and it seems she's chosen me to be her one trusted friend. I don't know how far to go in this role, I've never asked for it, but those around me say I should bear with it, to the best of my ability. She has no one else, they say. I really do try my best to be nice to her, though. After all, there's nothing but free time in this village, so claiming I don't have the spare time to help another human being would be ridiculous. One in need of that. So far, our relationship has been kind of one-sided, but I try to be understanding, and I do my best not to let it ruin my mood around her. Quentin? Yeah. What's your favorite food? My favorite food? Let's see. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure I really have a favorite food. What I feel like eating changes constantly depending on a number of factors. Lately I've been gobbling up Lorelei sandwiches like a rabid animal, but it seems like an odd thing to share, so I don't. I'm not sure I really have a favorite food, Miriam. You don't have a favorite food, but everyone has a favorite food. I have a favorite food. Why is it that you don't? I can't really answer that. I scratch the back of my head. In situations like these, it seems she often asks me questions that are difficult, if not impossible, to answer. Her hunger for answers doesn't seem to go away unless you find something new for her to focus on. So let's hear it. What's your favorite food? Anything my mom makes. Her definition of food seems rather broad, but oddly specific in one sense. Do you miss your mother's cooking? Yes. All the time. That's rough. What do you choose to eat here then, as your mother's cooking isn't available? I don't really eat too much of anything. Now that's a bit worrying, Miriam. I also find myself questioning her ability to take care of herself. Like a worried older brother, I feel the need to make sure she doesn't starve herself. Miriam strikes me as the type that would. Without intentions of self-harm, of course, but rather out of a mix of despondency and her head being in the clouds the majority of each day. She shrugs slightly at my worrying, but doesn't say anything. This is often the pattern when I try to teach her things. I'll have Emma try to cook you different things. That way you might find stuff you didn't know you liked, and maybe you'll like it as much as your mother's cooking. How does that sound? Nothing can beat my mom's cooking. Well, at least give it a try. You can decide once you've tried Emma's. Miriam shrugs once again. I've raised my eyebrows at her. I finally get a small nod. It can be exhausting at times dealing with her. Every little thing can turn into an obstacle. I try to imagine the frustration she experiences herself when she struggles with small things like these, and it must undoubtedly be annoying for her as well. Thinking about it this way helps me keep my composure with her. She seems lonely, don't you think? Lorelai and I are walking around the campus we often do nowadays. It's become a thing for us, and a warm day like today, the relaxation granted by it is at an all-time high. You see, the sun is strong, and so is the full blue color that's painted on the vast sky above us. The air is fresh, and our stomachs are full of warm, comforting soup. We're walking close to each other, closer than Lorelai probably realizes. Our hands almost touch. The topic of today's walk is Miriam. She does, but I think she was equally lonely before all this. I think some people are simply inherently more lonely than others. I'm talking about the type of loneliness that stems from actually recognizing that people don't really understand you. I listened intently. I deal with Miriam more than I'd like, in all honesty, but I feel like it's a responsibility of mine to be the best I can be for her. If she were a sibling of mine, perhaps I would go as far as to actively build my life around being a pillar of support to her. As it is now, I can't find it in me to go that far. In a sense, it sounds awful, I know, but I can't be the one everyone looks to for support. I'm not willing to go that far here, but I won't do nothing. Thinking of these things reminds me to talk to other people around about her. Lorelai's been telling me it's not solely my responsibility to carry, but everyone else's too, as she is as much a part of this camp as we are. I agree with her notions about Miriam, but it's a tough spot to be in as she's currently so dependent on me. You can't be too selfless in these things, you know that, right? If it's a burden on you, find people to share it with. It gets easier that way. I know. I don't do well with people like that, so I'm sorry to tell you I can't be of help. Lorelai looks somewhere very far away. The depth in her gaze is mesmerizing. It's good that at least one of us is completely unbound by duties. Lorelai shrugs. It's not my fault I was excused from regular duties. Well, technically, she's possibly the most incapable householder I've seen in a while. She's good at making sandwiches, but that's where her not-so-wide array of expertise in regards to household skills ends. I get started on a comeback that will end in tears. My tears. Though I always end up realizing it's a bad idea to point out the chinks in her armor in that manner. I decide to change the subject instead. Hey, your lips aren't chapped anymore. Good eye. She blushes. Do you often pay attention to my lips? She gives me a seductive look. I feel taken aback. I suddenly don't feel as brave anymore. Is this what getting hit on is like? And more importantly, where's the timid Lorelai I know? Not more so than any of your other body parts. I'm hit with a staggering blow right in my stomach. I catch my breath, then I cough. You read too much into things. She's clearly flustered. And I think I am too. Her posture is normally perfect, but right now it's like she's putting all of her efforts into appearing refined. She put one hand in the other, and then put them to rest against her front as she walks forward with elegance. Okay, another topic it is. I'm really not too good at this, huh? Before I get that far, Lorelai's already opened her mouth again. This time, she has a level of seriousness in her eyes that she didn't have a minute ago. We're proceeding too slowly. I look at her questioningly. Well, we can always walk faster. Lorelai sighs deeply. No, you idiot. We're proceeding too slowly with the map. At this rate, we won't get anywhere with it. Oh, we'd already increased our exploration time from a few hours a week to, well, a lot more hours a week. Just getting prepared and making sure the circumstances are right takes a lot of time and effort. I scratch my head. I have a thought that'd make it go faster, but I'm going to build onto that idea before I mention it to Lorelei. Well, it can't really be helped right now. Tomorrow we have other things to do, but after that maybe we consider going out more often. Besides, time isn't something we have little of. Lorelei cocks her head to the side. I think you're getting stressed, thinking you need to finish it quickly. That may be so. But there's no real reason for stress here, is there? I stop at my steps and look at the vast fields. Even from here, the view is excellent. I nudge towards a nearby bench and Lorelei picks up on it. We go sit down together. So I think this is the first time we actually see Quentin. Look at the lively fields, at the powerful sky, at the radiant sun. Just getting away this far from the buildings does wonders for me. What do you say? Isn't it beautiful? Lorelei leans against me just a bit, and I lean back. A smooth breeze tickles our faces periodically. With this being a very hot day, it creates a perfect balance between hot and cold on my face. I take some deep breaths of the gorgeous countryside air I never really experienced in my own life. It fills me with hope about the future, if only temporarily. We sit on this bench for a long while, enjoying the stillness of this peaceful village. We reminisce in silence. Another day in the forest. One of the many problems with not having internet access out here is that you can't look up weather forecasts. But let's be honest though, those things were wrong more often than not. Either way, the weather seemed like any other day this morning, but sadly that presumption on my part couldn't have been more wrong. In gravity's grasp, the rain steadily showers us as it passes by. We might not be its targets, but we still suffer. Luckily, it's not as cold outside as you'd imagine. In fact, it's quite warm. It seems it is a typical late summer day after all. A soaked Lorelei is desperately going through my backpack in search of some tarps we got from Emma. Found one. Lorelei appears to have found a tarp. She hands it to me, and with the rope in my hand, I go ahead and tie the tarp between two trees. Once it's properly tied as the roof above us, I take off my backpack and pull out yet another tarp. I spread it under the tarp tied to the trees, and thus we have a small tent of sorts. Luckily the wind isn't too bad, otherwise we would have been in trouble. I guess we'll just wait out the rain right here. I sit down and slowly sink into the moss beneath the tarp. It's surprisingly comfortable, and Lorelei smiles timidly at me as she sits down beside me and realizes the same thing. Do you ever get complimented on your eyes? If not, that's a shame because they're gorgeous. I don't know what spurred me on right at this moment, but I felt like I had to let her know that, despite being such a cliche thing to make a remark about. Crystalline is what they are, though. I feel like I could get absolutely lost in them. I wonder if I shouldn't have said anything. I know how uncomfortable she can get after all. She looks away from me and it makes me wonder why. Is she flattered, uncomfortable, or perhaps both? Sometimes you're awfully difficult to read, you know. I suppose it isn't easy for her either to be made so uncomfortable by another human's presence and interaction. I imagine that if she is in fact uncomfortable, telling me in such an unexpectedly intimate moment would make her even more so, knowing I know. Thank you. A fragile voice, completely unlike hers, makes it to my ears. It makes me happy. Not that she appreciated the remark as much as the fact that she dares let her guard down around me. That truly means a great deal to me. I smile and recline into the comfortable mound in the moss shaped by my body. Next to me, Lorelei looks equally relaxed, and through the pattering rain I hear her shallow breaths. Her hand is adjacent to mine, hers small, mine big. I'd like to say I can sense her hand's warmth, but my hand might be playing tricks on me. I feel very warm, so it might just be me. I'd like to believe it's hers, though. Lately, I've begun appreciating her company more and more. I've been thinking about what makes me get up in the morning, and spending time with Lorelei is definitely on top of that very short list. If she weren't here, or if I hadn't gotten to know her back then, I don't know what my daily life would consist of. It's hard to believe I've grown so used to her company that I can't imagine a life here at the camp without her. At the very least, she'd leave a huge hole in my life. She is the main reason we're out here, doing this stuff, looking for answers. It's also strange to admit to myself that at one point, I'm not sure believed that Okay, something's up here. I did not believe that I could be happy out here. Whenever I think of Lorelei, I'm reminded that things aren't so bad. All this time in Spain with her is leading us towards something greater, I'm sure of it. I feel very much at peace. Despite the rain, this is all... Actually, because of the rain and everything else, this is all so very cozy. Something tugs at my heartstrings. I know what it is and why. It's because these words prove she's as full of inner peace as I am. Out in the forest where no one can see or hear us, we are at ease. But we are not lonely. Far from it, we are content. A complete contentedness. Every muscle in my body is relaxed and my senses feel heightened. They are desperately absorbing this peaceful moment of bliss. There's nowhere I'd rather be. There's nowhere I'd rather be. Our eyes meet. She smiles faintly. I take Lorelei's hand, and we drift. Nowhere in particular, because there's nowhere we'd rather be. I dream of a glimmering stream. This same stream leads me towards my goal. I don't know where it is, though, so I'd have to find it first. But I feel like I'm on the right track, so all I have to do is keep going. Isn't that right? Listen to the song. The song will lead you there. I'll keep that in mind. My dream ends there, but I continue sleeping for just a while longer. I wake up. The rain has stopped. The continuous pattering is no longer there, and the lack of its presence is like a gaping hole in the atmosphere. Next to me lies Lorelei. Her hand is neatly wrapped around mine. I gently squeeze it, and her eyes slowly open. Oh. A couple of hours at most. It's still light out. Right. She quickly lets go of my hand and rubs her eyes briefly. You hungry? A bit. Me too. What do you say about making it back to the camp? Yes. Not a morning person, eh? I slowly pack up the tarps, and we get going shortly after that. Even in her dazed state, along the way, Lorelei holds her notepad and a pencil firmly. Someday, we'll find what we're looking for, I'm sure of it. And this is the start of Chapter 5.